I mean, that can even go into like why the Switch is like my most played console right now. It's the convenience factor. I can be sitting with my family in the living room, put my daughter to bed, wife can watch whatever she wants on the TV, and I can just pick the Switch up, sit on my couch, and just play on a screen right in front of my face.
Yeah, you know the thing that's doing that with the Switch, though, that has happened to me, and obviously I know you can put it into the TV and play it regular.
Yeah.
Because I do that so often if I go to a bathroom, I'm probably bringing a Switch in with me. Like you said, if, my wife's with the kids, and if I do have some time, maybe I'll play a little bit. But it makes me appreciate when I do sit down and play a legit console more.
I will say, like for as much, like, since I got my Switch, like, that's been my main console. But for, like, even doing these Resident Evil games, like, going through 5 and going through Revelations like I am right now, like, I have to go down and spend time in the game room and, like, actually sit down, like, a good old-fashioned kind of gaming session.
That's what I'm saying. It, like, makes those...
It almost makes you appreciate that more.
And it actually, what it makes me do is underappreciate the Switch games. Like, I've noticed, like, I've been playing through Breath of the Wild.
You know what I don't do with my Switch games? Finish them.
Well, yeah, I only have the 2, and although I've unlocked most of the shit, at least I unlocked all the fighters in Smash.
I did that too, yeah.
But I'm going through the light world, and don't get me started on that bullshit. Because, like, there's no point to unlock these fucking...
They should have done Subspace Emissary or, like, something like that again.
But, I'm going through Breath of the Wild, and I keep trying to ask myself, like, am I enjoying this game for the fact that it's a game, or is it just something that's really fun for me to pass the time because it's convenient? Like, versus I could be spending time dicking around on my phone or whatever, what we used to do.
Right.
Or, like, I'm sitting here playing this game. It's actually tough for me to recognize if that is, and I'm only maybe 4 or 5 hours into the game.
Right.
It's fine. I do have my nitpicks about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, I think I'm undervaluing the game because I realize it's just a convenience thing. I'll pick it up. I'm not playing it for hours on end. But like you said, when I'm sitting down and forced to play these Resident Evils, like, I'm appreciating more, like, oh shit, because I'm more invested.
Right.
So I feel like does the Switch, keep promoting this idea of gaming on the fly, which you can never get super invested in the same way I feel like you used to.
Maybe, because, like, I haven't finished Mario Odyssey yet, and it's a great game. The only game I guess I can say that I've beaten, I got through all of, like, Sonic Mania once without getting all the Cast Emeralds, so I didn't even play the super secret last stage kind of deal. But, like, I played through it, and that's only, like, a 4-hour game if you just play through the story. And I was like, okay, I'm done.
Which keeps bringing me back to, and I know there's people that love Odyssey, they love Breath of the Wild, they love these games. Does it make sense for Nintendo just to keep down this path of, like, just the more mobile convenience?
As long as it sells, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, rely on the third parties that go to all consoles give you the all-encompassing game. Mm-hmm. Not, once again, not saying Breath of the Wild isn't.
And not saying the Switch doesn't have them, but it's still just like, I don't know, I guess the semi-mobile portion of it still makes me think, like, oh, it's my pick-up-and-play console. That's what it is.
Exactly. So... it's not your number one console because of the games. It's your number one console, like you just said, convenience.
It's my number one out of convenience. I like the games I have on it, but it's still my number one out of convenience.
But I honestly believe that if
the Switch is the only console I own that I hate the fact that I'm a physical collector. It would be so much more easy to just have it all on the hard drive.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the deal. Like, if you could have everything you have on your Xbox and do that mobily, I think you'd be playing that a lot more.
Oh, I'd be playing the Xbox
Switch
more.
Ones. Yeah. So that's where it's like, is that good or bad for them? I mean, from a sales point, obviously.
For right now, it obviously works.
Yeah.
For this generation, it's going to work. For next generation, who knows?
That's the only thing I think is like, and Nintendo's smart. They obviously, from a business standpoint, know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
But are they going to go down a path where it's like, like, remember Xbox for when they first announced One, they were like, it's online all the time. And then they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. No.
They never recovered from that E3. Yeah.
So is Nintendo, do you think, going to go down the path that's like just convenience all the time? Like, it doesn't matter so much about, like, you'll have fun playing. I'm not saying their games aren't fun, but like what gamers I feel like love about games is how invested you can get. And I feel like I still, even in Breath of the Wild, which is an investment game, I'm not I'm playing it just to go through the motions.
Yeah, like when I was playing through Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, like it's I guess to give it a different thing. Like I was playing on the Wii U, so it was kind of like the proto Switch, obviously, because you could take the tablet somewhat far from the console. You couldn't take it everywhere.
Yeah.
So I would take it, I'd play, and I'd probably put a good 20 hours into it. Never beat it or anything like that, but didn't even come close.
Yeah.
But then eventually I was just like, no, I'm just going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a thing with the game design itself, or, I mean, it could just be a thing with the game design, too.
And I'll be honest,
It's kind of a barren game unless you're going through the exact story missions.
and that's one thing I want to point out, and this can be our final topic, but I know Breath of the Wild is 3 years old now?
Yeah, 2. Switch just turned 2. Came out.
Okay, so 2 years old. We're late to the game. But, man, playing through it now, I can't help but right away. My comparison for that game is Skyrim. And so far, I'm, like, severely unimpressed with, like you said, the Baron is kind of an issue. And I realize there's a lot you can do. But I also, there's so much things I could nitpick about. Like, I get it. Weapons break. But god damn the rate at which some of them break.
So, yeah, I think people bitch a little bit too much about that.
Because my thing, and I know you're someone, just like in Fallout New Vegas, you love the over micromanaging system.
Yeah.
Which is basically what this game forces you to do. And, like, the methods for, like, getting more inventory, like giving that little dude seeds.
You know, the Korok seeds. Yeah.
Which are, like, cool, but then you only get one space at a time. It's very specific, so it's like it really drags it out. And like, yeah, you can fill up your spaces really quick, and if you want to play with different weapons right away, like you're like, I can't because I don't have enough space, and I don't want to waste it on this. So I don't know, there's a lot of that game that I find weird, and this is another weird nitpick. Why don't any of the motherfuckers talk? Some of them have very little dialogue that they actually speak out loud.
Zelda tradition.
I get it, but like at this point with the Switch, it's like, fucking talk.
Well, you know what? That's a double-edged sword because everyone criticized Zelda's voice in Breath of the Wild, too.
Isn't he supposed to be a child? Like a teenager?
Right, Zelda's a girl.
Oh, yeah. Link. You know who the fuck I mean.
Well, yeah, Link doesn't even talk, but like, yeah, like...
People have made fun of Link's voice because of the TV show.
That's a whole different can of worms.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but like with Zelda's voice, they're like, well, what did you want it to sound like? It's that whole thing where it's like, we're like, well, not like that. Yeah. So people are gonna.
I know you're never gonna make everyone happy, and
Zelda fans are the easiest fucking thing to like cater to and placate to. They just slap that shit up. And I like Zelda games. Don't get me wrong, but the fandom for it.
The biggest problem I find with Zelda fans is, I feel like
they think it's deeper than it is.
Yes, and I feel like you could feed them anything, and it's like, it's great no matter what. And obviously I've seen plenty of memes that make fun of some of the older games and some of the annoyances.
Or even the ones that make fun of, like, say, Skyward Sword and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they don't love all of them, but...
But, like, and this is where I fundamentally have an issue. I'm like, and I know I dick ride Skyrim too hard, but I keep looking back, like, if you compare that to... basically any Zelda game. It's like,
well, Breath of the Wild Skyrim feels like a world where Breath of the Wild feels like objectives filled with like busy work.
Yes.
And I like the busy work in it. Like I like the fact that like it's easier to explore anything you want in Breath of the Wild. Exploration's way better than it is in Skyrim.
Well, for sure, yeah. But once again, you're
exploring... But then again, what are you exploring?
You're exploring nothing.
You're exploring caves with a couple mazes, and then you're trying to get to the next story thing.
Essentially, it's like, a whole bunch of, and I know I'm going to butcher her name, but the Babokins.
Oh, the Bobbikins or whatever, yeah.
And it's like, I defeat the 5 of them, and I get the chest open. And I feel like I just keep doing that over and over. And it's like, I'm climbing. But I didn't get enough stamina yet. Now I fall. Now I do the glide. Or I go into and do a puzzle for one of these orbs. And some of them are interesting, but some of them are so gimmicky because it's just like, adjust your Switch. And I don't know if it was the same on the Wii U.
Yeah, they had the same puzzles. I forget if you had to move the tablet or if you could just use the sticks.
The one was all about... like
it's been a while.
I literally had to turn it away from me and guess that it was in the right place. And then the only other issue is, like, I didn't realize it. I was like, why is the frigging aiming with the bow and arrow so terrible in this game? And then I realized, like, as I'm doing this, I'm moving, and you can do it with your.
Oh, the gyroscope shit, yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm sure there's a setting I can turn that off.
Probably.
But that's something. It's a gimmick. I don't need a gimmick in a game. Like, if your gimmick is one of the reasons why you think your game is great, I don't think it's a good game. And I'm not saying it's a bad game, but yeah, it's just not. I don't know. I still have gone back to Skyrim way too many times, and like you said, it's a world. Like,
Right.
Even though I've seen the same friggin' Whiterun a million times, I still love going back and I'm like, ooh, maybe I could play it like this.
Yeah, and even more so saying like the Fallout games, like the little camps and
Yes.
like the little towns, like that's a town with people in it with like voice and script.
I think Bethesda should get the rights to Legend of Zelda and make a Legend of Zelda game.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Of course, there'll be plenty of bugs, and Bethesda is obviously not invaluable because
Bethesda
76.
Bethesda needs a comeback after 76.
And we talked earlier about games I need to go on sale. I will get that when it's like $10, $5.
I would get it for cheap,
Yeah.
but it's still like 40.
Yeah, it's still way too high. And I know it dropped really quick. What was that game that recently came out that
Actually, it's funny because like to go back to like Game Pass that we talked about, Just Cause 4 is already on Game Pass 3 months after it came out. So we're getting to the point here where like these streaming services are getting these games quicker and quicker. So
Yeah.
it's almost going to be the point where why would you ever buy a game new and not
Well,
just
it's
wait
just
a
what
couple
we talked.
months?
Yeah, it's exactly what we talked about. Like, there will come a point. Every game will be like it's available right away. So it's like, do I buy it new? Do I even buy a physical copy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's companies going to evaluate. Does it make sense to keep producing them physically?
It almost, well, that's why the Xbox, they're coming out in, what is it, May, I think, with like the Xbox X Slim. It's like some stupid kind of string
That
of
doesn't do
words.
CD, right? It's
No,
just-
there's no disc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we all knew was going to be coming from these consoles, but
Makes sense. I honestly,
future's now. And actually, the only games really, like, say, like on the Switch, like, yeah, they come in the carts, but you'll have big gigabyte updates. The only games where the whole game's encapsulated on there is like all the indie games that get ported to it physically.
yeah. I don't know.
That's another thing that chaps my ass. Goddamn Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago now, I cashed in all my E-points to get it discounted. And, what did they announce today? Oh, Limited Run Games is going to have a run of Curse of the Moon. So you can have it
That's
physical.
what you get.
That's what you get for ever buying digital. That's what you get.
So
Physical forever?
I know we hopped around a lot of points, but let us know what you think about, these digital games, about the Switch, about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. We kind of had a little random...
We went tangent to tangent. I recognize that. I actually can't even remember what we started with. To be honest. I know PS Mini, but either way,
Oh, yeah.
thank you guys for listening again.